How are you?
How are you?
Good.
We'll continue with our media availabilities in advance of the Sprint Unlimited. We're joined now by Martin Truex Jr., driver of the number 78 Furniture Row Racing Toyota, making your fifth Sprint Unlimited start, runner-up in last season's race. Martin, tell us your thoughts heading into tomorrow night's event.
Well, looking forward to it. It's always a fun race, and it's really a neat race to kick off the season. You don't have to worry about points or anything. Just go out there and try to win. So, be a fun night for everybody. Everybody's been, kind of ready to go here for a few weeks, and we're pretty antsy. So hopefully it'll be a good show. It'll be a fun race, and we can, get out there and knock the rust off and get the pit crew involved and get them going and in preparation for next week. So, looking forward to figuring out our new Toyota and kind of getting a glimpse on how Speedweeks is going to look for us.
All right, we'll open it up to questions now. If you'll just raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you. We'll start over here with Tom.
Hi, Martin. Tom Jensen,
doing?
FoxSports.com. Good. How are you?
Good.
How much difference is there in switching cars?
Well, that's a good question. I think we'll find out as we go here more than I could really answer to right now. I think that here at on the restrictor plate tracks, I don't think you'll see a whole lot of difference feel-wise. Of course, when we go to downforce tracks and we get to Atlanta, we'll probably know a little bit more on what is exactly is different, how things feel different. But when you have a pretty big rules change thrown in there as well, it's a good time to to make those changes and switch things up because you're going to get a different feel regardless of staying in the same manufacturer or not. So kind of a good time to change, I think, when there's a bit of a learning curve for everybody coming up.
We'll stay right there. Yep.
Louis Franco Reuters. Obviously, you're here in shops in Colorado, but did you get any sense of extra stress on the team getting new equipment, sometime after Homestead, I imagine, and getting everything ready, in a very short period of time?
Oh, sure. It was definitely a busy off season. I think Cole was probably a lot busier than certainly last winter. I think that the guys at the shop really pulled a lot of overtime and worked a lot of hours to get 4 cars to be ready to come here. And honestly, we tested December 14th in Homestead with a Toyota. So it's been a really busy off season getting things switched over, and certainly it's going to take us a little bit of time to get caught up here. But Cole feels really good about the way things have gone and the direction of everything. And if he feels comfortable with it, then I sure am too.
We'll go to Mr. Coble, then we'll come back to you, Stan.
Martin Don Coble with Morris News Service. What is the goal tomorrow night? If obviously, other than winning, what do you hope to accomplish tomorrow night? What does the team need to learn?
Winning. That's really what it's all about. It's about, it's about knocking off the rust and it's in practice here at Daytona. It's hard to get a really good feel for, just how the racing is going to play out. So you get in a real racing situation like the Unlimited where guys are, putting it on the edge and willing to make big moves like they would, in the Daytona 500. It gives you a really good outlook on, okay, these are the things I can expect next week because it's really hard to learn those in practice. So it gives us a really good sense of who's strong, who's not, possibly who you can work well with and really just gives you a good sense on, kind of where you stand with your race car against the competition, and it gives you direction to work on, throughout next week in practice and leading up to the 500.
We'll go to Stan, then Mike, then Dinah.
Stan Creekmore with RPMTonight.com. How much time, if any, during the off season did you actually spend, like on a computer or something, to get a feeling for what the much smaller spoiler and the change in the nose is going to affect what you have to learn?
None. We tested Homestead December 14th, and that's, aside from Kentucky last year and Darlington, those are the only 3 times I've driven with the lower downforce package. So, with the testing rules the way they are now, it's, some guys I think tested Vegas a few weeks ago. So Homestead and Vegas were the 2 tire tests this winter, and that's really the only guys that had, have a sense of, exactly how it's going to feel leading into this season. But everybody in this garage is really good and really smart, and it's, we'll all get it figured out pretty quick, I think.
We'll go to Mike.
Mike Embry, USA Today. Martin, there was some other positive news out of Denver sports-wise recently, but did you get any kind of feeling that the community out there gained an appreciation for you guys being there and what you did last year?
Well, I certainly think we did, and I think the biggest way to see just that impact was, getting voted Colorado Athlete of the Year by Mile High Sports Magazine, and it was, it came to a really big shock, for me. But I thought the coolest part was that, we don't race in Denver. There's no NASCAR track in Colorado, and for those guys to recognize mostly our team, for that accomplishment was really a big deal to me, and I thought it was a huge honor. So, to beat out guys on the Broncos, especially with the year they're having, was kind of insane to me to think about. But, the impact and the awareness we kind of raised there in Denver about NASCAR. The author said that, typically on Monday mornings they were talking about football games and hockey games and things like that. And last season, Monday morning they'd be, standing around the water cooler talking about how the 78 car did on Sunday. So I think that's a huge deal. It means a lot to our team. It means a lot to Barney for all he's put into, to NASCAR racing out in Denver. And it was just a huge honor for me.
We'll go to Dinah, and then we'll come back over here.
Hi, Martin. Dinah Pulver with the Daytona Beach News Journal. I have a couple of questions. One, I just sort of wondered what it was like for you personally to be in such intense emotion there at the end of last season in the chase. And then the other thing is, I just wondered if you could tell me how you feel about some of the rules changes announced yesterday.
Yeah, I really had a lot of fun last year in the chase. I think it was, it was an exciting time for our whole group to be able, to be in that position for the first time. And, for me to be in that position for the first time, having a chance at a championship, the Sprint Cup Series was, a dream come true. So, we didn't quite do as well as we'd hoped, and this year we're out, working hard, and hopefully we can get back in that same position and do a better job. So, that's our goal as of today, and we're just looking forward to the season and seeing what we can do. So, the rules changes, I think, are all positives. I think I like the green-white checker rule, the overtime rule. I think it's, a really good idea, and we'll just have to see how it all plays out. But I think, definitely was a move in the right direction.
Excellent. Go ahead.
Hi, Martin. I'm Sean Sullivan with NBC Sports Radio. Question for you, kind of change the subject just a little bit. What do you think about Daytona Rising? I mean, from a driver's perspective, what do you think about that?
Well, it's an incredible project, and just, the amount of money spent and thought and detail put into it, it really changes the game on, on what people are going to expect when they come to the racetrack now from the fans' perspective. It's really the first motorsports stadium, that we're going to, and definitely raised the bar. I think the fans are going to love it. I've only seen a little bit of it, but I plan on getting out there this week and really checking it out and getting into it. But a lot of exciting things happening, and obviously, hopefully the fans will enjoy it, and it'll be a great race for them next Sunday to watch.
Any additional questions for Martin? Yep, go ahead, Kenny, right up front here.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Martin, I know it hasn't been very long, but have you noticed any changes as far as the manufacturer switchover? Is there anything you've seen from Toyota or anything that's really kind of caught you by surprise or anything like that?
Nothing really by surprise, because I've dealt with and had a relationship with those folks before. But I think the biggest thing that sticks out is just how involved they are in what we're doing. Everything we do, they're right in the middle of it with us. And certainly the relationship with JGR is new and different. But I can't tell you how pleased I've been with how that relationship has looked so far between our guys and theirs, and how much help they've given us kind of getting us off the ground with all this stuff. So they've been a huge part of making the transition and trying to get things right. And, hopefully, we're going to find out exactly how it all looks here pretty quick when we get on the racetrack. But so far, I think things have gone well, and, I'm excited about the partnership and, getting in there and learning from their guys and, trying to, kind of be a part of their team and show them that, hopefully we can give as much as we take. I think that's going to be important for the relationship, is for us to show them, fairly quickly to gain their trust that, we've got a really good, solid team, a solid operation, and, we can bring something to the table as well to help them.
We're going to go back over here to Lewis.
So following up Mike Hembry's thing and being named the Sportsman of the Year in Denver's, has Peyton Manning asked to friend you on Facebook, follow you on Twitter, or ask you for your autograph?
No, I don't think so. Not that I've noticed. Yeah, John Elway did tweet us for Homestead. That was really cool, wishing us good luck. So that was awesome. But no.
Excellent. Martin, thank you very much. Good luck tomorrow night.
Oh, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Not my fault. I didn't schedule the meeting. I always want to talk to you guys. You kidding me? I love this.
Well, if I could have everybody's attention here in the media center, we are joined none other by the defending champion of the Daytona 500, driver of the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford for Penske Racing, Joey Logano. And I must say, Joey, last year you win this race. I don't think I've met or seen a happier individual than after you won the Daytona 500. Is there a few
I was
things
pretty
that
pumped
topped
up.
it?
Yeah,
I'd say you're
it's a
pumped.
good point. I was pretty fired up after that one. It was obviously Daytona 500. It all kind of comes back to even sitting up here after the race and coming in here having your media availability, and all of it comes back to your mind, and you remember what it was all about. And it's such a special day, and the way to make it better is do it again.
Very good. We're going to open the floor up to questions. If you have a question for Joey, raise your hand. We'll start over here with Al, and we'll work our way around.
I'm still eating popcorn. Al Pierce at Auto Week.
That's what you guys do in here all day.
Yeah, eat popcorn.
Just kidding.
Believe it or not, there are people in the world who wonder, why would a driver who's about to run a 36-race championship season, why would you want to run, and I understand, but they say, why do these guys want to run a non-points race on a Saturday night that doesn't really mean a lot? What will you learn tomorrow night, and why do you run races that you don't have to run?
Because I want to. I mean, it's as simple as it is. We're racers. We want to race. This has been a long off season for us. You know, it's been. I haven't been in a race car since Homestead, so I didn't even sleep much last night because I was just excited about coming down here to get in a race car because I love what I do, and it's a privilege to drive a race car. So the fact that we get to run an extra race or two throughout the year, heck yeah, I'm in. You know, and like any racer, we want to jump in a go-kart to race, and why do we do that? Well, it's just for fun, you know, and at least this is you racing against the best stock car racers in the world, and on an amazing stage here in front of a lot of great fans, and with a cool trophy at the end. So that's plenty of reason for me.
We're going to go to George Diaz and up here to Lewis.
Yeah, Joey, way in the back here. In reference to Tony's injury, and you touched upon wanting to race as much as you can, do you place any restrictions on yourself, or does Mr. Penske place any restrictions on you, not only with the off season in terms of what you can do in terms of recreational activities that may get a little crazy?
You know, it's a tough question, and it's a question you ask yourself every day, whether there's restrictions on you or not, whether you can go race other cars or not, and you ask yourself, is this worth it, or should I be doing this? And it could be something as simple as what you're doing at the gym. Is this something that can hurt me moving forward and going this close to the season? And you just you got to weigh it all out, and it's not easy to do that. You think about it a lot of different ways, and you got to live too. You can't just live in a bubble. So it's a tough question, but you got to use your best judgment. It's risk versus reward, just like we use you do that in everything in life, just like we do on the racetrack. You got to think about what you're doing and what the reward of taking that risk is.
As a follow-up, do you do anything that would be, that kind of on the edge a little bit in the off
Try not to. I don't think I do, but yeah, you never know. You can get hurt walking across the street. I can twist my ankle walking to the garage here in a minute. So, anything can happen. But like I said, you just got to be smart about it, and just, and I'm not saying what Tony did was right or wrong or whatever happened, is, I don't even really know how it happened. But, it's tough. You know what I mean? It's a tough thing to figure out. Is driving a side by side or a four wheeler okay, or is jumping it not okay? You know what I mean? Like what is the line? What do we do? Is up to everyone's opinion.
We'll go to Lewis, then to Jim, then to Bob, and then to Brandt.
Louis Frank of Reuters over here. You spoke about remembering what a great time you had last year here in Daytona. But putting 2014 and 15 in perspective, and apologies in advance for bringing up Homestead 2014 and Martinsville, how do you use that? Do you use it as a motivational tool? Do you just say forget about it or something else?
We're motivated, man. I tell you, this has been, last 2 years have been career seasons for me. I feel like we've had 2 championship seasons without a trophy. So we have a lot of confidence. We know what it takes to win this whole thing. We've been right on that edge. And arguably, with most wins last year, we should have been there. But it's just that's the way the format is. That's the way we play this race, and it is what it is. So I feel like I learned a lot. As a driver the last few years on what I need to do to make it happen. I feel like I've found new levels as a driver to reach, and so maybe I'm a silver linings person. I know I'm a silver linings person, but I feel like that's something that you have to have, is that confidence and not get beat down. And I feel like there's nothing really to hold our heads down about. We've had 2 great seasons.
Go to Jim, then to Bob, then to Brandt, and then to Alan.
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. There were several comments by drivers yesterday that said the new overtime rules were kind of a collaboration between NASCAR and drivers. I was wondering what you thought of them and why this particular method is preferred by drivers, if you're one of them, to what we were doing before.
I think it is a great example of, the council and NASCAR and really everyone putting their heads together to come up with a great way to fix the whether it's 1 attempt at a speedway or to 3 attempts during the regular races. I think what happened at Talladega kind of changed everyone's thoughts on what the single attempt would be. And obviously we owe it to the fans to race, but we also know when you're running green white checkers at super speedways, it could get dumb pretty quick. It could get to the fact, you don't want cars flying up in the stands. We don't want big crashes. That's not what we come to do. We come to race and win races, and we want to definitely put on a great race for everybody watching it. And I think the way we've seen Talladega finish isn't the way. It was okay for me as we won, but it really wasn't the way I think everyone expected the single attempt to play out. And I think when you put this line down the backstretch, wherever it's at, I haven't seen it out there yet. I think this is a good happy medium to get both.
Go next to Bob.
Bob Hocker, ESPN. During your little media tour in New York yesterday, were you asked more about Daytona 500 win or about Matt Kenseth?
More about 500, which is good. Everyone's thinking about good things. That was it was fun. It was a nice little trip to New York, and it's very cold up there, so I'm glad to be in Florida now. But it's fun to obviously help promote the upcoming race here in Daytona and try to get as many butts in this new stadium. I call it a stadium. I think it's really cool to see it like this and try to get everyone here.
So is it good that maybe you're not being defined by Martinsville last year?
I mean, hey, you can define me however you want to define me. I'm going to define myself the way I want to.
Go to Brandt.
Brant James, USA Today Sports. With the way the last 2 seasons, right back here.
There you are. Okay, I couldn't find you.
That's right. I was not hiding. With the way the last 2 seasons culminated, is there any eagerness or impatience to kind of, maybe want to fast forward and get onto it, get back to the fall and finish off those 2 seasons that you had previously?
Yeah, we want to get back to that point, right? So we want to get moving forward and all, but as far as where we're at now, we're focused on the race ahead of us. We can't look too far down the road. We got to get there first. We got to make the chase. We got to win some races again. We're starting back at zero, so there's no guarantees we have a season like we did last year. We hope we have a better season than we did last year, but I don't see any reasons why we shouldn't. But the fact of the matter is we're all at zero right now, and we have to go through all these races to get there.
Next to Alan, and then we'll finish up with Lee.
Alan Kalana, Fox Sports. You touched on the motivation, but when you come off an awesome year like you had last year, do you talk about it in the shop about we can't be complacent, we can't rest on our laurels? Is that a worry, and how do you go forward when you know you have a good team but probably need to improve still?
This guy, Roger Penske, he keeps you from being complacent. I can promise you that. He's a motivator. He pushes you forward, and he really doesn't have to say anything to push you forward. You just you feel it, right? We just had our 50th anniversary at Team Penske, and we had our big party to get together with a lot of guys that used to work there and drivers, and it's just an amazing night. And you see these highlight videos of how many races they've won and all these different forms of motorsports, and to be part of it was motivating to me that I want to add to this. It's far from done, and it's an honor to drive for him. It's not easy to drive for him, and I wouldn't expect it to be. He expects us to go out there and perform. He made it clear to us over the off season, yes, we had a great year. No, we did not achieve our ultimate goal. And, so we'll give it another shot.
We'll finish up here with Lee.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. Can you just discuss some of the highlights out of the safety meeting and what your takeaway was from it?
My takeaway is NASCAR is still working on safety, which is great. As a driver, that's what you want to see, right? And they're still crashing cars and working on a lot of different things right now. A lot of talk was about seat angle, obviously about the crash with the 29 truck in Las Vegas when he had a compression fracture. We want to make sure that we, obviously understand why that happened and keep it from happening again, right? So a lot of different things with seat angle and where your legs are and foot boxes, and they're trying a lot of different things to keep intrusion of other cars in, and so they're testing things. They're trying a lot of new things, and obviously you got to get to the bottom of it and really understand everything in these new parts and keep testing them before they implement them into our race cars, but making good progress on all that. So it's good to see that, and kind of run through everything and a lot of the other nuts and bolts stuff. Thanks.
Good, Joey. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to join us today, and good luck this weekend and next.
All right, sounds great. Thanks, guys.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Garning, and want to say thank you, everyone, for joining us this afternoon. We have six-time NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion Jimmie Johnson here today to talk about the 2016 edition of the Jimmie Johnson Foundation Wellness Challenge. This is the third year for the Wellness Challenge, and this year it includes 3 events: the Jimmie Johnson Foundation 5K on May 22nd in Huntersville, North Carolina, the Cane Creek Sprint Triathlon on July 26th in Waxhaw, North Carolina. One key point to that one, that is a Tuesday night, so it's designed to make it easier for those of us here in the NASCAR community to participate. And then the Lake Davidson Sprint Triathlon, September 11th in Davidson, North Carolina. Now, Jimmie is joined on stage by a couple of familiar faces, Steve Post, Jamie Vansel. Steve, talk about what's going on up here today.
Well, it's kind of interesting, and over the course of time, I think we all know that Jimmie's interest and passion about wellness. And my story with Jimmie started with the last year, 2014, actually, a year and a half ago. We were at the Myers Brothers Luncheon out at Las Vegas, and just happened to be seated at the table with Jimmie. I think Jeff Gluck was at our table, and Jimmie was sharing with Jeff what they were doing, and they were talking about all this running and everything, and I'm sitting there like the way overweight MRN guy. And so I said to Jimmie, I said, what are some things that I can start with? I'm not going to be Jimmie Johnson Johnson, at this stage. And he said, just start monitoring and start paying attention to it. And I got back from Vegas and I bought a Fitbit and just started monitoring it. And it was really interesting to see how the sleep went. Really interesting to see how the steps went and how the walking went. And over the course of last year, I've got to be real honest, I didn't do a whole lot with it other than monitored it. And kind of the way I describe this is Jimmie kind of dealt with a philosophical. This is the strategy, this is the theory, this is what you need to do. When I saw Jimmie's work with Tony Gibson, and Tony is the crew chief for Kurt Busch, I think that to me became the practical application of it. Tony and I are similar in age, we're similar in build. We actually live in the same neighborhood and have the same favorite pizza joint and same favorite places to eat. So I really related to what was going on with Tony and what Jimmie and Tony were working on there with the Fit at 50 program. And so consequently, as the season went on, I was watching this with Tony, I said, I want that. I want a little bit of that. I want to get to that stage where when you talk to Tony and how great he felt and how things didn't hurt like they used to, and he could get out of bed without his knees killing him. And then, and face it, I love to eat. Talk to Tony about different things he was trying with his diet, and that not only was he surviving it, that he was enjoying some of this. It became real practical to me that a middle-aged guy like Tony or like myself could do this. So I went to work this off season, and I'm very proud to say that I lost 28 pounds during this off season and went real aggressive with some dieting things and some walking, and really kind of came to this stage and wasn't sure what it was going to be during the course of the year. And I'm going to turn it over to Jimmie because I think Jimmie kind of provided me provides us with the next step to this journey for me as a guy that's working on it. So Jimmie, share a little bit about what you have going on and how we'll move forward on this.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you, Steve and Jamie, also for being up here. I want Jamie to maybe share his story a little bit here as well. But we're in here a lot. We're obviously making everybody aware of what the foundation is doing this year with our wellness challenge. But today, I'm not here asking to have people write about it. I'm here to challenge you. I want everybody in this room to know if you want to get fit, you want to focus on wellness, that I'm a resource. I'm here. We have an app that can walk you through the different steps of it. And at the end of the day, I just going through the off season and then starting this season and having media day, and to see how many people were talking about Gibson's story and the smile they had on their faces to see Tony healthy. I just want to provide that for everybody and everybody in this room. So again, today's not about writing an article. It's more about myself sitting up here with two friends that I've been able to help influence as well and let them kind of share their stories too. So one thing I've found, and I think what Steve was getting at, is it's tough to always watch what you're eating and to get your shoes on and get out the door and walk if you don't have some motivation. And my challenge to all of you is we have the Jimmie Johnson 5K coming up May 22nd. And that's 3 months out. It's plenty of time to get geared up to go run 3.1 miles. And we'd love to have you. So this is a big invite and a challenge to all of you to focus on your wellness and let us help. And after that, if you do want to pursue it further, there's those 2 sprint triathlons lingering out there, and you can do them yourself as an individual or also as a relay team. And it'd be cool to see. I've seen Bob and Jeff, Nate, a bunch of faces in here at our different events participating, and it'd be cool to see some relay teams or some individuals try to tackle a sprint triathlon. So that's really the meat of it. Again, we have the app, and you can find that on the App Store, the Jimmie Johnson Foundation app. It's a free training app to get you ready for the 5K. And then our Wellness Challenge website to sign up is jjfwellnesschallenge.org. So that's really the meat of it. I don't have much other than trying to challenge you all, and hope to see you see you guys all feeling better, and hopefully at the 5K. And I know Jamie's got some bit of a story to share with you and the adventure he's been on as well.
Thanks, Jimmie. As most of you know, and you've seen me out on the road before, I was pretty heavy. And, I found out I was sick. I had diabetes, type 2. And I was looking at ideas and ways of, slimming down and working out. So I, cut my diet back and started exercising. But, doing the same thing every day, exercising gets kind of boring. So I pulled Jimmie aside one day, and I was like, hey, I know you're really busy, but what do you do? Can you give me any suggestions, any ideas of things that can help me out to change some things up so I'm not so bored all the time? I want to get out, work out, but sometimes you get in that stale stage and you get kind of bored. So I talked to him, and he gave me a few suggestions on, some swimming ideas, maybe some cycling, different things I can do while I run. And, it changes things up and it makes it more exciting. And I'm down 85 pounds from where I started at. So, you know, it works. You just got to keep at it, you know, and it's hard. I know it's hard being in here and sitting around and you know, working all the time. So sometimes you just kind of have to find that time, you know. You go back to the hotel and you're tired. 30 minutes is all it takes some days, you know. You don't have to go in and work out for 2 hours. If you go in and do 30 minutes of workout, and sometimes that's all I need to, you know, make myself feel a little better about not getting a whole lot of exercise, but at least getting a little bit of something. And I always say that fat waits for nobody, because sometimes it doesn't. So that's just how it is. And, you know, I thank Jimmie for giving me all the suggestions, and anybody can do it. If I can do it, you guys can do it. It's pretty easy.
Cool. One other little thing to add, and we can talk to Amy offline. There's another very cool app called Strava, which I'm on and participate on. You can post your activities, and it's a great way to keep everybody honest and also encourage. So if you don't have the app, maybe consider downloading it. And then with Amy, I have it private, obviously, because there's a mapping aspect to it, and I don't want every fan showing up at my house for autographs. So if we can find out who's interested, and if you promise not to show up at my house for an autograph, I'll open it up and we can sit there and have the banter, encourage each other, and that's the biggest thing. Helping hold each other accountable, and just getting your shoes on and getting out the door is half the battle. So that's about it. Didn't mean to be up here too long and labor through it all, but just wanted to throw that out to everybody.
I actually signed up for the app today, as a matter of fact, just looking at it, and it projects that Jimmie could run a 5K in 12 minutes and something is what it projected.
I like that.
Yeah, I think mine was 2.5 days. So, but we're, I think that's the thing, and I know it's just take a step. Grab Amy or grab somebody here today, and they can get us started down this path, and I'll look forward. It's called a 5K run. It might be a walk for me. I don't know. We'll see where we're at, and if it's a 5K walk, I'm going to walk all 5K of it, and I hope that there's a lot of us in this room that collectively travel this road. We'll maybe do it all together and get a little bit better off for all of us individually.
Cool.
And you can take that challenge immediately. Amy is right over there. But first off, do we have any questions? And if we can, keep it on topic, simply because these are some pretty impressive stories. Any questions for anyone out there in the audience? Yeah, go ahead, Stan.
Jimmie, what do you say to individuals? Jimmie, what do you say to individuals who kind of, like him, just said they have to walk, or they can't even walk that kind of distance because of some physical issue that they have? What do you say to them to help them continue to lose weight?
Yeah, I mean, I clearly don't want to put anybody into a situation that's going to harm them or injure them more if there's something that's pre-existing. But I've found, and I've watched others that have had knee problems, and as they've started to walk, or if it was swimming, whatever the exercise might be, strengthen the areas, and those issues really dissipate and go away. I've had a few aches and stuff over the years that, especially being in these race cars, your lower back takes a beating. We've seen plenty of drivers with that story, and since I started swimming 3 or 4 years ago, my back issues are completely gone. So, you know, strengthening the body, really working that soft tissue, balancing the body out. It's not that it has healing properties, but it just gets the body working right. So, you know, certainly talking to a physician or talking to I'm just a guy trying to encourage people, but talking to a real professional or coach that could help build a workout routine to make you feel better and strengthen those areas is key.
Okay, we'll go here to Jerry, and then George, and then Nate in the back.
Right up front. Jerry Jordan, Performance Racing Network and Kicking the Tires. I downloaded the app. I've actually been working on trying to lose some weight for a while. And but how does it work? Can you explain the app? And yeah, so you have companies here and things like that. What's the involvement with the app, and how do you interact with people through this?
On the JJF or the Strava? JJF. It's been a little while since I've been on it. We need to. I'll come and flip through it with you here in a second. We'll get it started up and going. And once you get into the app and you sign up for the 5K, my triathlon coach that I've been using, Jamie is also who worked with Tony Gibson. We've taped some stuff which you might find humorous because he's not very comfortable in front of the camera, but there's a whole tutorial to walk you through each step and give you the workout plan to get you to the 5K. Yep.
Cool. All right, George?
Yeah, Jimmie, back here. George Diaz with the Orlando Sentinel. You talked about fitness, and this kind of dovetails into a little bit of what happened with Tony recently. You know, where do you kind of draw the line between staying fit and doing things and then crossing a threshold into something, an extracurricular athletic activity that might cause some harm?
Yeah, I mean, you can get hurt doing anything. I just know how much better I feel now that I've focused on my fitness. And when I first started in the Cup Series, many of you in here remember me then, and had a few extra chins and spent my free time doing other things. But I mean, for how sharp I feel, how good I feel about myself, all the things that come with eating better, having physical activity in your life, being outside and challenging yourself, and possibly putting yourself in harm's way. That's how I feel alive, and there's certainly a balance that any professional has to take into consideration when you're doing those things. And I'm sure if one of you are on a bike and you fall and break a wrist and you can't work the keyboard or something that, but you've got to live. So there's certainly a crossover point. And I'm not suggesting we all need to go base jumping and do a bunch of wild stuff, but, addressing the fitness, wellness, it's good for mind, body, and soul. And I've grown so much through this experience, and I feel very honored to have encouraged others to pursue that. And I guess Tony and with Steve and Jamie and hearing their stories, I didn't realize that I was capable of these things, and it really wasn't my goal. But now seeing that, being there to support someone on this journey, and the other piece to it is that individual has to want it, and when that happens, great things happen. And here's two great stories in that.
Nate, take us across the finish line.
Nate. Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. You kind of started on there, third, Jimmie, but now that you've seemingly undertaken the major responsibility of getting the entire NASCAR industry in shape, is this something like you envision doing maybe beyond NASCAR? And why do you think that you're good at it? Why do you think you are? It seems like a good motivator for the two guys on stage, or for Tony Gibson. It seems like you've got maybe a knack for it.
I think I've had some big aha moments recently in how to make it work in my life, and just excited to share those things. And with our schedules all being relatively similar, not the best options to eat day in and day out, the long hours, there's just a lot of things that I feel we have in common, and I've seen that they've been able to help others in our industry. And then truthfully, Saturday afternoons when the Cup Garage closes, the community that I've been able to see, and it doesn't matter what team shirt they might walk out of the garage in, but everybody puts on their cycling gear and goes for a ride. The friendships I've built, the way I've been able to see a lot of the country that I otherwise wouldn't have seen. I've been sitting in my motorhome just eating, watching a Xfinity race or something. It's just been amazing to experience that community inside of our garage, which I didn't really know was there. And I still think we can grow it. And there's 2 or 3 different groups that leave the garage. Some guys are really strong, other folks that are just figuring it out. And it's so cool to see that now, and to see how many bicycles are lined up in the garage. And I don't know, I guess the community aspect and then living the same schedule is where the motivation is really coming from.
Do you want to keep doing it maybe after the NASCAR thing is over? Is it something you want to do later on in life?
I haven't thought about it that far. The Wellness Challenge means a lot to me, and that's why we started it in, I guess, 2 years ago. We've got great partners that also believe in wellness in their corporations, with Blue Bunny Ice Cream and Lowe's and all these folks. So I know it's a big concern for everyone, but I haven't thought of it as something to do down the road. It's after going on my 15th season being here, I've just been so happy to see other parts of the country and in this other community that I didn't know existed in our garage area.
All right. Again, to take the challenge, go to jjfwellnesschallenge.org. And if you want to sign up right now, Amy will get you squared away. Thank you very much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
I thought that's what,
it's a reward.
I thought that's what we're signing up for.